What's up YouTube? It's Mr. Ferguson here once again. Thank you guys for coming back for another video here in Central North Carolina. It's a privilege and honor to make these videos for you guys. Today we're jumping into the topic that really, I would say, launched this YouTube channel that came out of nowhere, which is Poa annua. We're going to talk about it today and our continued war against Poa annua. We've got a new product here that I'm going to introduce to you in just a second. I want to let you know I am on Twitter. I've mentioned it a couple videos. Check me out at Mr. Ferguson Lawn if you're interested. If you're on Twitter, it's interesting days on Twitter if you've not heard. So go check me out there. Also, I mentioned in a community post, if you're on my channel and you go to the community tab, there's a post there talking about a Reddit lawn care contest that they had, and I barely got in right around Halloween, and I entered some pictures. If you would like to help me out, I appreciate it. For those that have already helped me out on Reddit that have an account, thank you so much. I know Mr. Kevin's one. I appreciate it. Thank you. Help me out there if you wouldn't mind. Thank you guys for tuning in today. If you're tuning in and you're watching, some of you are just loyal to the channel, and I appreciate you. Some of you, if you're watching today, you may say, hey, I've got a problem with Poa annua. I need answers, and we may have that answer today. I like to always randomly in videos say I'm not a professional. I do not work in the lawn care industry. I've never worked in the lawn care industry. I'm just a regular guy in North Carolina. I'm a veteran, North Carolina National Guard, E6 Staff Sergeant. Now I have a DIY lawn, and I do videos here on my lawn about this is what I'm trying, this is what I'm doing, and so far, as you see behind me, we did a cut yesterday. The lawn's looking awesome, man. So you can do this if you're a homeowner. And today we're going to talk about another thing that you may be able to put in your arsenal, sorta, and we're going to go through the label, and that is Poa Constrictor. Some of you may have recommended this to me on my channel here for many years. Finally, I've taken the money and I've invested in this product, and I did that because of a man called Paul's Prime Cuts here on YouTube. He put a video out over Thanksgiving talking about how he uses this product, what he does, and so he convinced me. Whether he was trying to convince people to buy this product or not, I don't think he was. He was just sharing info about what he does with his lawn care company. I was like, man, if that's working for him, I'm going to give this a try. And we've already actually tested this sort of kind of in a way in another lawn. So I'm going to put you guys on the tripod and let's have a quick discussion and go through the label of Poa Constrictor. All right, guys, thank you so much again. My tripod is jacked up, so if I look crooked for y'all, like it should look, I think, more like this, but I don't know. If it's crooked, I apologize. It's the tripod. But thank you guys for tuning in today. So first thing I want to mention is Poa Constrictor. The active ingredient in this is ethofumicate, the exact same thing that's in what we sprayed at Mr. Kevin's house a couple videos back, which is from a company called Rightline, Etho4SC. That's ethofumicate. That's the same thing that's in here. Now, if they're exactly the same, I can't tell you that. I'm not a professional, but they are both ethofumicate. I can tell you that. If they're not exactly the same, somebody smarter than me may be able to tell you in the comments below. So with that being said, yeah, like I said, I watched Paul's Prime Cuts, and he was talking about that he's only had to use this stuff in the fall time in the lawns that he takes care of. And he was explaining this product and why he uses it and what he's seen. And one of the things that he mentioned that caught my eye was that he's only having to use this product mainly in the fall, and he's not really dealing with a lot of Poa annua come springtime. And that's what caught my attention. I was like, huh. I said, that's what Mr. Kevin put down. And I immediately shared it with Mr. Kevin. I said, listen to this, because this guy is in the lawn care industry, and so it really caught my attention. So I went online, I do have a small YouTube budget, and I went ahead and purchased this and invested in it so that we can see, you know, is it going to work for us? Now, if you've been following my channel, you know what grass I got, you know where I've put what, and you've been following along. If you're new to the channel, here in my lawn, everything you guys see back here is GCI turf, turf type tall fescue. On the very edges of the woodline back here, I did plant Jonathan Green dense shade mix, which has a little bit of ryegrass and a very small amount of Kentucky bluegrass. In my front yard, we overseeded with Triple Threat from Southern Seeds, which is a turf type tall fescue. We also have GCI turf in the front lawn, and then we also sprinkled in a very small amount of Jonathan Green Solar Green, which is turf type tall fescue, and a very small amount of Texas bluegrass. So there is a very, very, very small amount of bluegrass in this lawn. Some of it Kentucky bluegrass. Years back, I did do Cool Blue from GCI turf. So there is a very very little Kentucky bluegrass, but I believe it's very, very, very little, and it's well established. And up front, we have very little Texas bluegrass we did do this past fall. So just to give you that quick update if you're just here for this video about Poa Constrictor. So as we mentioned, it is ethofumicate. There's the front of the label. So if it's a different version than Etho4SC, you smarter guys than me, please put that in the comment below. But quickly, I've already read this. I actually made this video previously. I didn't like it, and I'm redoing it. But I want to go over just a couple things. I'm not going to read every single thing. And if I have the digital copy of this label, I'll post it on the screen as I'm going over it. But just the first thing that I did notice, they highly suggest, and I'm going to actually, this time I'm not going to forget, I'm going to do it, the PPE for this product. It has an odor already, even on the label. When I was ripping it off, I was like, man, this stuff's making me a little nauseous. I opened it in my living room and had to bring it outside. I was like, it smells like it could have some toxic fumes to it. So PPE, long sleeves, long pants, eye pro, hand pro, you know, all the pros. One of the main things, and again, I'm not going to read all of this. Go read the label if you're interested. I'm going to hit the highlights here. One of the environmental hazards is I don't have water around me. We do have a very small creek way back here in the backside of my property, but it does say an environmental hazard of this product is this pesticide may be toxic to fish. If you're somebody that lives near a pond, by water, by the ocean, by the beach, you know, by a lake, beware of that. So if you're near water, please be aware of that. And jumping ahead to one of the other main things of the restrictions is it's under restrictions and precautions when we're talking about the environmental one. This one says Poa Constrictor herbicide is not intended for homeowners and may only be applied to residential lawns by professional applicators. So it is recommended by the company that yes, you can put this in residential lawns, but only by professionals. We do have professional backpack spraying equipment here, so I want to put that out there. That's why I'm not going to spray this on camera, but I am going to apply it to my lawn, and it will be applied because we want to stop Poa annua. But I did want to read that to you. It is listed here in the label. The second one, do not over apply Poa Constrictor herbicide. Follow the instructions in this label or damage to non-target turf areas may result. Do not over apply. We're going to get to the label rates here in a second, but don't think, hey, I'm going to use double what it says and I'm going to stop even more Poa. Like, don't do that. It's warning you here. And it may, you know, if you do the wrong thing and then come back and say, well, why did my grass burn up? It's, you know, you want to read the precautions, read this label before you go spraying anything in your yard. And the one that I really wanted to get to real fast, the last one, is spray overlap can cause turf injury due to over application. Use of a spray colorant or indicator is recommended so that spray overlap can be avoided. This is something I was like, oh, because that's something I do all the time. When we're talking about RGS spray or fertilizer spray, you want to make sure you are pre-emergent. You want to cover every section of the grass so everything's covered, and that blanket, that invisible blanket of pre-emergent is on our lawn. And this is saying do not overlap. If anything, you may want to leave a sliver of a gap. And that's what I'm going to try to do because I'm bad about overlapping my sprays. Do not overlap. It can cause over application, so I wanted to make sure I read that here. Now, when we get into the more, you know, then it talks about how to spray and all this stuff. We get into the weeds that are controlled by Poa Constrictor. I did want to give this to you guys for pre-emergence. Remember, pre-emergence, before it pops up in the yard, we can't see it, so we want to prevent it before it ever shows up. This product, Poa Constrictor, for pre-emergence, annual grasses, barnyard, bluegrass annua, which is Poa annua, canary grass, crabgrass, both large and smooth, foxtail, yellow, and green. Annual broadleaves, burr clover, chickweed, purslane, pigweed, and then it says Poa Constrictor herbicide will also reduce competition from nutsedge purple and nutsedge yellow. So I guess it'll kind of hurt it, but it may not completely kill it. So those are for pre-emergence. Then for post-emergence, annual grasses, bluegrass annual, Poa annua. That's exactly why most people buy this. It's for Poa annua. I hate Poa. I've got a Poa problem. I want to stop it. This is what this is supposed to help us with. So post-emergence, if you already have the Poa, you're visibly looking at it and you're watching this video, this stuff can, it says weed species controlled. So we're going to find out, will it kill it? Will it make it brown up and shrivel and die and get rid of those seed heads? We're going to find out, but I'm going to be putting it in my lawn here in fall to try to prevent it and never see it pop up, but we'll see. And then it goes into annual broadleaves, chickweed, and clover is some post-emergent control there. And flipping the page, pre-emergence, early post-emergence for annual grasses, crabgrass, large, and smooth. And then it goes over some of the precautions. It goes over some of the spray equipment applications that you need to go between 20 to 50 psi spray equipment. Don't be using these janky, sprayers that are like a pump sprayer. You need to have something like a battery, high psi backpack sprayer like the Flow Zone and things of that nature. So it goes over that. Now it goes into variant tolerance. And here are some of the ones. I'm going to read these real fast. If you have this type of cultivar of Kentucky bluegrass, it says ethofumicate. Let me read this under variant tolerances. Ethofumicate, the active ingredient in Poa Constrictor herbicide, has been used on the following turfgrass cultivars. However, Poa Constrictor herbicide can be used on other cultivars. Prior to large-scale use of Poa Constrictor herbicide on cultivars other than listed below, test a small area for tolerance. So these are the ones that can tolerate this. If you have this in your lawn, I believe this is the safe list. It says variant tolerance. It sounds like kind of like that Fusillade, that some of the grass should be tolerant, but before you wildly spray it all over the place, it could damage some of your good grass. Now getting to the flow chart here, and I'll put this on the screen if I'm able to. If not, for Kentucky bluegrass, if you are going to apply it there, you want to use 9/16 of an ounce per 1,000 square feet, and the number of apps is 2 to 3, and the interval between apps you want to wait is 21 to 28 days. And it says overseeding safety 6 weeks after treatment, and then application safety interval weeks after emergence 8 weeks. I believe we talked about that. 8 weeks after you see your Kentucky bluegrass come up, start the timer for 8 weeks, then you're allowed to put down this product. So it's a long time. For turf type tall fescue, you want to use 3.75 ounces to 1.5 ounces per 1,000 square feet, and you want to do 2 to 3 apps of this, and you want to do it in the fall time is what it says here is recommended. And then 2 to 3 apps also. Application intervals, you want to do a gap of 28 days, so a month. If you put it down in October, you want to wait all the way out of, until the end of November, a whole month until you do it again. And then it talks about overseeding safety 0 for tall fescue. You can put this product down when you put your seed down. That could be a game changer. We're going to find out in the future. Now that I'm getting a thicker and thicker lawn, I'm seeing less and less POA each year. At least I hope that's going to be the case this year. But you can put this down with turf type tall fescue when you put your seed down. That could be a game changer in place of prodiamine or in place of dithiopyr. And then lastly, for specific grass types, here we just talked about it, delay for Kentucky bluegrass, delay application of Poa Constrictor herbicide to bluegrass until at least 8 weeks after emergence. Bluegrass overseeded with ryegrass may be treated with Poa Constrictor herbicide 1 to 2 weeks after ryegrass emergence. So know that, and then it goes on. There's some more about Kentucky bluegrass, but we're going to hit the tall fescue. Lastly, make Poa Constrictor herbicide applications of turf type tall fescue in the fall, same as Etho 4SC. And it also says if overseeding with turf type tall fescue, applications of Poa Constrictor may be done at the same time as seeding. So it says it right here in the label. We can put this down when we do our RGS, when we do our starter fert, when we put our seed down. You can put down Poa Constrictor in your lawn to stop Poa annua. So it may be something exactly what I do last year. So we're going to end it there. That's the label. I'm not going to go through making you guys watch me walk the lawn. I'm going to do it soon. We actually got rain coming in tomorrow, and I hope to get some 0025 green kick in the lawn. I need to put some potassium down in my lawn, and while I do that, I may mix that with this bad boy, but don't want to overlap. As I said, I want to wear the proper PPE. So there's an overview of a brand new product, never used it. I'm going to treat this like Fusillade, as you guys saw that video over the past summer with the Bermuda trying to rid that from our yard. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope this gives somebody some hope. If you're fighting Poa annua, if you don't have a thick lawn, that is the first thing I recommend. In the fall time, you should have planted your turf type tall fescue, your Kentucky bluegrass. Get that thick turf going. You're feeding it with fertilizer. You're mowing it. It's thickening up as you mow it. And that is the #1 defender of Poa annua. But we're going to have some, slipping through the cracks. If you overseeded, you were obviously not able to put put down pre-emergent in those areas where you overseeded. This is a product that we can put down, and it's not going to hurt baby seed. That is a game changer. We are going to update you on Mr. Kevin's Etho 4SC over there as soon as we feel like we are seeing Poa annua pop up around North Carolina here. Remember, we're still in the 60s here, guys. So up north, out west, wherever you may be watching from, our daytime highs are around 60 degrees. We're not even, and then at nighttime we are getting down to the upper 30s into the 40s, but we're not even cold here yet. So Poa annua, you know, may take a break for a little bit in December, and we should start seeing it visibly around the end of December, January, and maybe the end of January. That's when we should see it. So it's going to be a while before we see, did the Etho 4SC work for Mr. Kevin? But thank you for tuning in, listening to more of a talking head video. But pick this up if you're interested like me. If you're like, I can't deal with bagging for 6 months in the spring, I need to try something, Poa Constrictor or Etho 4SC may be something you want to try, according to Paul's Prime Cuts, and I believe him when he says it. And he said he didn't even have to use a spring application, so I'm anxious to get this down. God bless you guys. Hope you have a fantastic Wednesday. We'll see you on the next lawn care video here from Central North Carolina. God bless.